Yeah, because he, like on the weekend, he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June LoMo event. Give yourselves a round of applause real quick. Go on, go on. Yeah, there it is. Now, quick note, put your phones on silent, please. Just don't want a little, don't want to interrupt the talks, as it were. Now, I'm Ash, your host with the most. I'm always going to say that because look at me, I'm great, right? Now, it is a pleasure to see so many of you, lots of old and new faces today. Forgive me for reading off the phone, I've had a day at work, so just bear with me, all right? Now, tonight we've got a couple of powerhouse creatives. The amazing Oded Shein, sorry. See, I knew I would fuck up one of them. And Miguel Rato, who is, there he is, hiding away in the second row. Also, shout out to Jonah, our DJ on the wheels still. And I'm not sure if he's still in here, but Samir somewhere, our tech, who's made sure that this is all possible. Now, before we get into all of it, we'd love to thank our man Adam, right at the back. He's hiding in the shadows. And the team at Cavalry and Canva, who have graciously provided us a few drinks. If you don't know where they are, they're in the fridge, where the drinks would usually be. But outside of that, we'd like to make sure that while the talks are ongoing, please remain seated. We are trying to film this stuff, so if you get in the way of the camera, it's going to be a headache. And if you haven't scanned the QR code, I hope you scanned the QR code. You better have gone through me or Lauren at the door. If you haven't scanned the QR code, please find us just before the end. We just do it so we can make sure we can keep track of numbers and keep these going as we go. I think, yes, we've set it up. QR codes on the left there, so there will be Q&As. So those QR codes on the screens to your collective right will direct you to our Slack. If you don't have Slack, better sign up now. But what we'll do is we'll get the Q's in there, right? There's a Q&A channel. Put your questions in there. I'll moderate with Oded and Miguel as we go. So it'll be about 10 minutes of Q&A. I'll be the one that decides. Don't ask anything weird, I swear to God. Let me see what else we've got. Right, housekeeping, event of an emergency. Well, actually, toilets, back of the room. So it'll be your left at the back. There's one toilet out of order, so don't all rush it. If there's a fire, you go out the way you came in, or there's a fire exit just behind this big screen. There shouldn't be a fire. Nobody set stuff on fire, please. What else? Oh yeah, take your empty stuff back to the kitchen, please. Right? This isn't like your mum's house, whatever. Let's make it clean. Let's keep it tidy. We're all adults. And again, just a massive thank you to our sponsors at Canva and Cavalry and my co-organisers. And we also have a new addition actually, Harvey. So can we please raise the roof for Jay, Harvey, Nick, other Nick who's not here, Adam, the team at Canva, everyone at Cavalry. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Oded, a motion director at BBH with 20 years of experience. He's worked across advertising, tech, social and music for brands like Spotify, Just Eat, Mentos, Chupa Chups, I never know how to say that properly, but Chupa Chups, Candy Crush and ASOS. Just to name a few, creating motion for campaigns, brand systems and socials. He's going to talk through his career and do a deep dive into his recent BBH rebrand. Give it up for Oded.
2 seconds while I put the password on.
There it is. Okay, mic works. Good. That's his work. Nightmare. Fucking nightmare. Huh?
Hello. Last time I heard the microphone was my bar mitzvah, so I'm sorry about this.
Sorry for that.
Okay, so I'm Oded. This is how you pronounce my name. It's a bit weird, but it also tells you my personal aesthetic, which is strong colors, vapor waves, iridescence. So when it's not tied to client work, this is what I like to do. I've been doing motion for 20 years, which is really scary to think about. And currently I'm a design director at BBH. And I'm going to be talking about my career, things I've learned along the way, and I'm going to do a deep dive into the BBH rebrand. So when I started, this is what After Effects looked like. So not much has changed since then. That's when they introduced 32-bit colors. And I've had the privilege of working with some of these people through agencies, studios, freelance. So I'm going to play my show reel, which is classic motion designers and needs updating. And I still feel like this a lot of the time. I always feel like a fake, especially standing up here doing this talk in front of you all. So I'm going to thread the talk with what is my kind of motion design mantra, where I believe that story is really important. Story before tools, story before keyframes. So before I touch anything, I look at the brief and I ask like, what's your story? Story dictates look and feel, dictates movements. It gives you the reason why things move the way they do. And a little origin story, so how I got my first break in the industry. This is really highlighting community and good people helping each other out. So this guy, who is he and why does he get the slide on his own? It looks a bit like the Oscar people who died, but it's not. So I was working as a security guard during uni, and a fellow security guard I knew, he knew I studied animation, and introduced me to this guy called Robert Sherman. So who's Robert Sherman? Robert Sherman Jr. is a son of Robert Sherman Sr., part of the Sherman brothers. They were a famous songwriter duo. They worked with Disney during the golden age of Disney. They wrote the songs for Mary Poppins, Jungle Books, Winnie the Pooh, Aristocrat. They basically wrote the songs to our childhood, depends how old you are. Winners of a lot of Oscars and Grammys. So he was in the family business, and he was trying to make an animation film, which never really happened. It was about ants, 3D ants, before the ants film happening. And he hired me as a storyboard assistant, which sounds really glamorous, but it's not glamorous at all. I had to scan 3,000 hand-drawn pages, frame by frame, one by one, and fix them in Photoshop. That's also when I learned about Photoshop actions, which saved my life. By the way, can you guys hear okay with the microphone? Okay. So I got introduced to the editor, and she introduced me to her husband, who worked at a small agency, which I don't think exists anymore. It was in Shaftesbury Avenue. They got me in there as a freelance, which was my first time ever doing freelance. And I was working for Zoo or Nuts magazine, one of those lads magazines, doing like early social media animations. And it's kind of funny because I had no idea about the industry, and they asked me, what's your day rate? And I said, £100, because at the time it seemed like such a lot of money coming from like minimum wage job. And the studio manager sat me down, looked at me, and I was like, Oded, this is too low. We're gonna pay you £250 a day. And I was like, wow, that's seemed like so much money, but like, okay, cool. And through my experience, a lot of younger designers, they think there's just one straight line in your career, and you go from junior all the way to head, maybe just in agencies, maybe just in-house. But my experience has been really different. It's been like this. I call it a scribbly path. I worked in lots of places. I was full-time, I was freelance, I was in-house, I was in agencies, in studios. And kind of when I got to the lead era, I became head of design. And I found out I didn't really like it that much, because it was a lot of management, no hands-on. And I went back to being a designer. And I don't like calling it being back, it's more like going sideways, kind of going back to what I love to do. Which I think is a really important lesson, because it's not a failure if you try management and it's not for you. You can be an amazing senior designer for 30 years, and that's not a failure. So during my time, like I said, I was freelance full-time. I worked in music, broadcast, social media, game trailers. So lots and lots of different places. And what it gave me was a massive Pinterest board of inspiration, lots of ways to problem solve, which has been amazingly valuable. I think the more places you walk, the more people you meet, you get more chances to have different solutions for a lot of things, which is really important for what we do. So I won't go through my whole CV, because it's fucking long. Sorry if I'm swearing. But I want to talk about this place. This is Metropolis Music Studios. And again, it's one of those weird places where you don't think you'll get a job. But they had a digital department, and we were doing lots of music promos, and mostly, and this is showing you how old I am, DVD and Blu-ray menus. And I got in there as a freelancer, but those 5 years have been so special to me. And I got there as a freelancer, nothing to do with music. I worked for Trivial Pursuit. And I had to really do a deep dive into the internet and found these images from 2007. I had to 3D model all those little silly wedges and animate the hands, all in Studio Max. And I create, I think, about 300 animations for the game. But they offered me a job as a designer. And I also got to do music photography. So I got to take photos of these people amongst lots of other people in gigs and recording studios. So I kind of like to think about that period as like the golden time. There was money in music, which meant there was time to be creative, time to be really weird, a bit of a Wild West vibes. So I'm going to play a little edit of my favorite projects from there. The style's a bit dated, but it's 2008, so forgive me.
This is a submarine. Soft, isn't it?
So what was really nice about that period, it was again was a playground of like trying lots of things and discovering new techniques. So this Robbie Williams project, that's when After Effects just released their roto brush. So it was a bit shit, but it was okay. But it really saved this job. It really got me through it. The Kylie Minogue, that was one of the first 3D Blu-rays. So we had to constantly redesign the 3D menus, because when you wear the glasses, we didn't want people to throw up while they watch it. So there was a lot of back and forth. And Yellow Submarine, like, look, the Beatles have a lot of money, and they always do. So I was allowed to sit and draw and animate 10 different menus that all look like the submarine, and it was really super fun. And it also really got me into editing and really love editing, especially working with music track. Working in music studio, finding the ebbs and flow of a track, finding the beats, telling the story that way. Okay, so enough about my career, enough about me. And I'm going to do now a deep dive into the recent BBH rebrand. So this brand hasn't been touched in 44 years, since 1982. So you can imagine there's a huge amount of pressure and a lot of eyes on this. This Levi's campaign from 1982, it's what made BBH famous. It's so built in our agency DNA that the black sheep is now the logo, and the tagline at the bottom there, when the world zigzag, that's the core philosophy of the agency. The zag is the story. So I'm going to play our heritage reel, which I animated and edited, and it's a good intro to who BBH are, and it's a good segue to talk about the brand, and you can kind of start getting a sense of the motion language. So from the early stages of this project, there were two main design pillars. One, we wanted to look at bespoke typography, and also we wanted to take the zag and make it into a tangible thing. We made 3D zag with the look and feel for each of our client. And I know they're not here, but they're going to see it later, so I'm going to give a shout out to Adam Buckland, the design director, and Sophie Harper, who's a lovely 3D designer, and she worked on all the zags. So I'm going to show you now each zag with the focus on the 3D details, because they're really lovely, and they're all made in Cinema 4D with Redshift. Not a single bit of AI was used for this. And this is all of them together as a suite of assets, and it's a growing system. Every time we have a new client, we make more. We also do internal ones as well. And now for the type. So we worked with Studio Drama, the lovely type studio people, and we were developing 3 weights, each named after one of our founders. It really has modern proportions. It gives like graphic cuts to kind of give a direct and contemporary look and feel. And also our ZAG, if you will, is the type is free. It's out in the world, it's on Google if you want to download it and use it. So developing the motion language. So this is a pure black and white typelet system. There's really no places to hide from a motion point of view. There's no fancy effect you can add. So every movement needs to have a reason. It needs to be intentional. So I'm trying to figure out what the story of a ZAG is. And for me, the ZAG is something unexpected. It's like a visual slap in the face. And that kind of led to the motion pillars. So I wanted to introduce unexpected movements. I wanted to have movements that are surprising, not always following the same direction. It's a bit like a zigzag motion. And also flash frame is an inverted action. So a ZAG is quite sudden. It's that visual slap in the face I was talking about. So using invert kind of helped with that a lot. And the curves, they're set to like really, really extreme. Again, I wanted to convey punchy and dynamic. So I set the motion curves to be that. And lastly, 50 frames a second. I really wanted to have a smooth motion to go beyond the 25 frames, 30 frames a second, and trust me, I would have gone 120 frames if I could. But you know, it is, all of our work lives in GIFs and decks for clients, and the maximum is 50 frames, so that was my goalpost. So here's some really early R&D. In the very early stages, we had small rectangle as a little shape, but that got scrapped. Also, the gray was an early part of our palette. We had like black, white, gray, and a bit of red. Here's some more R&D. We also developed an alternative character for the Haggerty font. So some of the letters have a different shape. It's kind of further cementing the idea of a ZAG. It's a bit unexpected. And I wanted to morph each letter from one shape to another. So you can see like this is not a simple shape. So because of how the letters are, there's not really a quick fix for it. You can't just copy paste the path, you can't just do morph or anything. So it was a labor of love and a lot of pain and manual nudging of points. Also, we do a lot of smoke and mirrors as motion designers. We're really good at creating distractions. Like, look over there. You don't look at this bit. So there were a lot of like messy bits in certain aspect of the shape. So I added a rounded stroke to hide the messier points, and the rounded stroke just happened just at the peak of the curve, just at the cut. Also adding a little extra pop. And here they all are together. And then Cavalry, the Cavalry comes in. So up to this project, yeah. I was quite new to Cavalry up to that point, and I used it here and there on small bits and projects. And then this BBH rerun came in. It was so type-led, it was the perfect environment to really flex Cavalry. So I'm going to show you a promo video I made for BBH Studios, which is like our internal department for production, for music and stuff. And this was done all in Cavalry. Like the storyboard all done in Cavalry, all the motion was done in Cavalry. And because it's so experimental, it's so procedural by nature, it really allowed me to explore a lot of fun layouts really quickly, layouts that I could not do in After Effects.
Could have been certain, could have been a G. Should have never snitched. Why take it to police? Started looking at you funny when you walking down the street, looking at you like food, trying to see what they can eat. Me, I'm like, well, I wouldn't kill you with the game. You don't really want to actually behave. Whenever on street, looking at you like food, trying to see what they can eat. Me, I'm like, well, I wouldn't kill you with the game. You don't really want to actually behave. Whenever on stage and a million gets made. I need that breeze. I feel sorry for Skepta, they copy these flow, but they say that it's a new flow. Imitation don't flatter me, but it's cool though. Should've ever left the guy alone in my studio. Put them in the coffin, get them on a tombstone. Yeah, I got a half of the price of a kudo. Living like a boss man, nothing like Hugo. I need that good price. What the plug turn pagan.
And lastly, I'm going to play the brand case study, which brings everything together. And is a project ever really done if there's no case study? Sorry. Thank you. I've never seen it on a big screen before, it's really nice. So I'm coming to the end of my talk, so I just wanted to have a few last thoughts. So names don't matter, craft matter. What do I mean by that? So big names are great, but don't chase them if the day-to-day work is not fulfilling you creatively. And of course, not 100% of the time, it's all a balance. So when money was joining the music industry back when I was working in the studio, and all I was ended up doing was template DVDs for people like Florence and the Machine and Blur, and those names are huge. But the work wasn't interesting anymore, so I went into freelance. I got into doing explainer videos for B2B fintech client that you never heard of. They're not famous, but the work was so much fun. I really got to illustrate and animate character-led animation explainers, and that was really pushing my skills as well. Plant the seeds. Networking is fucking hard, especially for introverts, who I suspect a lot of us are. I am. So remember that Sherman Brothers story. It was just a chance encounter that led to work. I think in the age of social media and stuff, we're really addicted to immediate gratification. So don't expect that from networking. Don't come with the attitude of what you can do for me. Plant the seeds, just have a genuine chat. Reach out on LinkedIn or Insta or just in a place like this. Ask for feedback, ask for mentoring. All they're gonna do is say no, or you don't get a response, but that's not the worst that can happen. Be nice, be humble, and when you get the opportunity, give it your best. So with that in mind, feel free to reach out, connect with me. I'm always happy to chat, and I'm always looking out for freelance, so come talk to me. And the last one is be nice to yourself. I'm guilty of this, as I'm sure a lot of you are, chasing validation through clout, through likes, through comments, and sometimes it can take away from the joy of making something. Not everything you create needs to be perfect straight away. Not everything needs to be shared online. You can leave stuff on your hard drive. That's it. Thank you very much.
I'll be there in a sec.
Thank you.
Can we please give it up for Oded one more time?
Thank you.
You're coming back up in, my friend. There's going to be 10 minutes of Q&A. Like, none of you use Slack? Yeah, I've got to hold both to my mouth, don't I? Does anyone have questions for Oded? because unfortunately, Nick, I'm going to have to do a roving mic again. I really wanted to be lazy, but you know, you lot make it harder for me. Right, Oded, back up here, please. Questions from the crowd. We're going to do like a school style. Put your hand up. No? Nobody? Nobody wants a question in my network? Otherwise, it's going to be just 10 minutes of me having a key at the top. Ah, there we go. Adam's got a question, the main man himself. Let me rove this mic all the way over to you, my man.
Right.
Oh, John, you're going to.
No, it's all right. Did John Hegarty have to sign? Did John Hegarty have to sign off the whole project, even though he's not? Is he still chairman? He is still involved, so he obviously did sign off.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought he wasn't anything to do with the business anymore.
No, we have to show everything.
So he was literally the ultimate client.
Yeah.
Right. 42 years after his original rebrand. Yeah.
I mean, that is very impressive. And huge kudos for you for getting it over the line. Now, please, ask the man some questions. No? None of you? You're all creatives. There we are, look, two in the front row. Right, you got to fight over the mic.
You go.
And there we go. That was very, very little fight there.
This is very technical and a little bit nerdy, but what would you say is the biggest difference between After Effects and Cavalry? And when do you use which one?
By the way, this is my friend, but I did not ask her to ask the question. She just helped me doing what none of you are doing, which is asking the question. I think Cavalry, and again, I'm not paid by Cavalry, but if you want to pay me, that's fine. I think it brings back the joy of exploration because you link stuff to everything, and everything, you can create like really weird stuff by chance, and that sparks a lot of interesting layouts, ideas. You kind of like, you're forgiving yourself more because stuff happened by accident.
Thank you.
Your turn.
Hello, I have a question. Could you tell us a bit more about your collaboration with BBH, collaborating with Studio Drama, and how did that work? Developing the font and then working on the font.
Good, so you're asking me about the bit that I was involved in, thank you.
No, you were involved with them after.
Yeah. I mean, this was more the design director. They were going back and forth with Studio Drama. They were trying to introduce the personality of each founder into the type. There is a whole story behind it that I don't know, so I'm not going to do justice if I just say it. But yeah, there was personality per font, and I think they were thinking that each font should fit like social, landscape, so there was like the weights helped with that as well.
Ah, another one. Oh, now your hands go up. Okay, all right. Hang on, you were first. Don't you worry, I'll get her to ask questions, don't you worry.
Congratulations, man. 20 years in the game, what's helped you to stay hands-on, a maker, and not giving up after a while and becoming an order taker?
I think you asked me how do I not give up? Okay. I do about twice a week, but I don't tell anyone about it. I think again it's going back to working in many different places, and I think in a bit of a selfish way, I always want to work somewhere that makes me curious and makes me push the boundaries, and if that doesn't happen, then I look for something else. And again, there's so many tools these days, and we're not even talking about AI and stuff, but I think just staying curious, don't let new stuff be scary. Just try everything, see what works, see what doesn't work. And like always enjoy the movement of something.
I've got another one for you here. I'll get to it, don't worry.
Okay, I want you to pretend we're all school kids in sixth form or GCSEs. What advice would you give to kids wanting to get into our industry? What's important for them given the massive changes we're seeing in our industry at the moment?
I think in that respect, tools don't matter as much. It's about being able to problem solve, being adaptable, and being curious. Those three things, I think that's what's going to keep you going.
There was a hand there you are. I knew there was a hand at the front.
So this might be a question that a a lot of people might have, but I was wondering, you know, with the new emerging AI, how are you using AI to facilitate your workload?
Okay. I think my personal opinion about AI is something else, but work shoves it down our throat, so whether I like it or not, I need to use it because I have bills to pay, like all of us. But I try to use it in a way, not creating stuff. I don't want that to be taken away from me. I use it for, like, if I need a bit of help with software or like coding, or, you know, like the stuff that, like, we don't do, like rotoscoping a bit or like background extension. Those are the things that I want AI to help me with. I don't want it to be take away doing illustrations or motion art stuff.
Any more? Ah, there we are. See, look, you start to come out of the woodwork a little bit, didn't you?
Hi. Do you create anything else besides motion? How do you feel your creativity charged?
I'm also an illustrator, trying to be an illustrator. I'm still trying to find my style, even though they would all say I have a style, but I don't think I do. Yeah, that's my main thing. And because I'm curious, I try different things. I tried creative coding, didn't do anything. I tried photography for a while, that did something. I'm thinking about becoming a tattoo artist, so see if that happens, I don't know. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff beyond motion as well.
Sorry, I forgot the mic. 2 more minutes. Anyone else? Ah, all the way down the back. Ah, it's Ramon. Okay. I wonder what you have for us, my friend. Yeah.
Hello. So, what is your favourite fonts? Because you seem to love typography.
My favourite font?
How does it make you feel?
I fucking love that person. Lobster?
Oh.
No, not lobster.
You're going to make enemies out of people.
I'm a millennial, yeah. I don't have a favourite font, I'm sorry. I love all fonts, even the ugly ones.
I think that's the right answer. Right, let me scooch all the way up top. Anyone else while I'm still in the mix? No? Let's get knocked over by a TV. No? You're done? Yeah, we're all done here. Right, well, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. Give it up for Oded. One more time, please. The man, the myth, the legend. We will have another man, myth, and legend shortly, but you do have 10 minutes to get out your seats, go to the bathroom. Remember, there's one bathroom down, so don't all bum rush it, please. Cigarettes, drinks, whatever you want to do. But please try to be back in your seats just before we start the next one. I'll give you a little heads up. I will come and round you up like the cattle. Yeah. This is what you don't get to hear.
Yeah.
That's the first time that's happened.
Well, let's hope I don't fuck it up.
Yeah. I'm getting there. Yeah. It's gone blue. Same colour? Yeah. Lovely. Welcome back. Thank you all for sitting there so quietly and a little bit of an impromptu round of applause. So we're going to now move on to an executive creative director. He's already up here, so it's a bit hard for me to, you know, he's already here. Formerly at Tendril, well, that name should ring a few bells for all of you. If it doesn't, look it up. He's a master of After Effects and Cinema 4D. He does say he's an arsehole. He told me to say it, not the other way around. But could I please introduce Miguel Rato to you all?
Thank you. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. So, let's hope I don't screw this up, and I'm already doing it.
So I'm really happy to be here today to share a little bit about my story. This is actually almost my last week in London, and it's the end of the journey. Yeah, I know. It's been a journey that I'm going to walk you through today. So as you can probably see on the screen, my name is Miguel Rato. I'm a creative director, I'm a designer, and I'm an adventure photographer. And from a really young age, I never wanted fear to stop me from doing the things that I wanted to do. And that's the reason why this year I set myself to do more talks, or talks at all. I've never really done talks before. And it's super scary. No matter the size or the venue, it's always really intimidating and scary at the same level. So I'm trying not to screw things up. But trying new things and finding fun ways to challenge myself, it's something that drives me and pushes me to continue. And I have a really blast with it. And I've been doing this craft for almost 20 years, and I'm still looking for new things to try and that excite me. So for those who don't know me, here's a little bit of what I've been doing as a creative director and a designer over the last few years. I'm still very much hands-on, and it's super incredible to show some of this work today with all of you today that have been done by so many people that I've had the pleasure to collaborate with. So with that being said, let's have a look at my reel. Oh, there you go. No? Okay. Cool. Thank you. So now that we got that out of the way, I can talk about other stuff. And I'm going to be moving from live action and photography and CG a lot through my talk, because I'm really deeply passionate about these subjects, and I don't like to brand myself as just doing one thing. I grew up as a wild kid, so it's a miracle that I lived through the 90s. So no one in my family is really a designer or an artist. I'm really interested in art. I've never wanted to be a designer. I always thought I was going to do something totally different. Not really sure what, but I've studied science and until about I was 16 years old, and that was really random because I wasn't really passionate about art, so I can't even draw. My teacher once told me that if I drew a house, I should put a subtitle, so he knew what the hell I was doing. So that's how bad I was. So I landed the job in design, or in design school even before I had a job, because my parents wanted to put me in military school. And that's how I ended up doing design, which is crazy. So I'm deeply passionate about exploring the world, and I've dedicated my whole entire adult life to doing that. As well as a designer, I became a dive master, amongst many other things. I specialized in shipwrecks. And I always found myself balancing between these two worlds. So on one hand, there's the pull to jump into the wild and to explore and to the deep wilderness. And on the other hand, there's the creative side of me pushing me to create and share my vision for my projects and through the peers and the people that I get to work with. And somehow that contrast has come to define how I spend my life over the last 20 years or something that I've been a designer, going from raw and unpredictable environments into crafted visual storytelling. And this is a project that I want to share with you today that kind of explains a little bit of that journey. Thank you. So this was a studio project that we did, but it also reflects a little bit on my journey. And this is a little bit about how I think when I go into a project. We started doing mood boards and writing treatments. And started as a project that was for a client that killed the project when we were like midway through production. So I had already wrote the entire story, I had the script, I had all the scenes that I wanted to build with, and somehow I've got to do this for fun, which was really cool, because not always you get to do projects that relate to your life as an experience and also like for fun. So that was really cool. But what I want to talk to you about today is about how I've been embracing the challenges since I was really young, and that led me to become a creative director and a designer, first of all, and also a photographer to some extent. I'm not going to show a lot of projects in their totality today because I feel like that's always something you can see online. So instead I want to go deep about how I built the career around what I love doing and what I'm most passionate about. So my hope is that with this talk I can motivate someone to get out there and explore, and not just about the world, but at work also, like think a lot of these things as highly relatable in a way. The tools that we have available today in our disposal are so insane, and there's so much that you can do without just jumping into it and not being scared of trying new things. I think that's something that we forget. And when you learn to embrace that fear, things get a lot easier. That's what I found, at least. And you realize that you can unlock so much more at work and in your life. And what we do is, as designers and as animators, as so many of us here, it's so rewarding that we shouldn't always be taken so serious and scary. And not being scared of doing things is what led me to work on different projects that you'll see today, and different styles, and evolve and learn with other people. My styles are incredibly different because of how passionate I am about a lot of different things in mediums, and I've always been really curious. I got actually kicked out of the subway in South Korea taking this photo because they were not very impressed with that. But to give you a little context about where I am and how I started, I'm from a very small fisherman village in Portugal called Santa Cruz. It became a little bit of a surf and skate town, and that's the culture where I grew up with. It's not to be mistaken by the California Santa Cruz. It's the Portuguese one, but in a way, I grew up listening to Nirvana and all the punk rock bands, and riding dirt bikes and getting involved in that scene. That was always been really fun, and I was always been a really curious kid. But I'd actually never left Portugal until I was 19, and the first place where I moved was London, and I've been here ever since. I never liked the big cities, but somehow I managed to find myself in one of the biggest cities in the world. But where I found myself at most ease is in uncomfortable scenarios and places. Okay, cool. It could be on a bus full of chickens, or in the Philippines for 10 hours, or in general places where I shouldn't be, or that then somehow that translates into my work ethic too. I like to do different projects and different things. I don't like to do the same thing for long. And so it's always like being like in different environments. Like this photo I took, that's in the village in the Nicaragua, and they were doing bets in this village about something, like I think it was bullfights or something. For sure I shouldn't have been there or taking photos. So, but somehow I find myself really relaxed and at ease in these places. Or it could be in the northern Vietnam, in the mountains with China, where this lady jumped out of a ditch and started looking at me like I was some alien, and I felt the same about her. But it's so interesting without speaking or saying a word, like the expression, it was really interesting. And I found that I'm most at ease and happy in these places and scenarios. But before all of this, at 19, like I was saying, I moved to London. I bought a motorbike on the day that I arrived and started to deliver pizzas. And I was trying to find my way into the design world. I enrolled in university. This was my room, my desk, and my wardrobe. It served multiple purposes. It's still the area where I still live today in Hackney Wick, and I really love it. But somehow in that mix, I studied in university, and somehow someone came into our classroom one day and asked if anyone wanted to go to South Korea and on an internship. I had no idea where South Korea was. So I said, yes, of course, I'm going to go to South Korea. So I arrived in South Korea. I didn't know Korean or anything about Korean. I was 22 years old. This was my favorite chicken shop. I loved the design. They got me with that. And I was so happy to be in a different place, in a different environment. I didn't know anything about Asian culture or anything like that. But the world, I wanted to express myself, and I wanted to share with others at home and my family about the things that I was looking at. So I started walking around the city capturing with my camera. That was the easiest thing I could use to express myself. I wasn't a very good designer. I don't still think I am. And my 3D skill sets weren't that good. So photography was the way that I found to express that vision of the world that I was looking at. So I've always been drawn to color and texture, and I've always been searching for that since an early stage of my career. And the best way to express that has been through photography at this early stage. And I had a lot of time to reflect when I was in Korea. I didn't really know anyone, and it was really hard to meet people because language barriers, and at the time a lot of people wouldn't really speak English, and my Korean I knew how to order beer, which was important, but that was it. And I used to drink this yogurt milk, that shake thing, and every day, and I knew I was going to come back to London eventually, and I knew I didn't want to go back to delivering pizzas. So I was like, how can I stand out in the industry? And one of my favorite design studios at the time was White & Kennedy, and I knew I had to do something to stand out from the crowd and get a job at White & Kennedy, which was my dream at the time as a graphic designer. So I looked at this yogurt and I started thinking about this Blur video clip that you can see on the left side, on the right side, sorry, with this guy walking. I thought to myself, why don't I'm a delivery guy, I used to deliver pizzas here, why don't I just be myself and build this milk box cartoon with my skills? And apparently I did everything, which is impressive. Even Arduino, I had low calories on there at least, but yeah, I definitely did not know Arduino that much. And I guess fake it till you make it when you're young, or not. But I had this creative lunchbox idea, so I built this, and somewhat it went viral for some reason, and I ended up working on, not at White & Kennedy, but I actually ended up working on cinematics for video games at the time. I was not really into video games at all. I didn't have a clue about what I was doing, but somehow I ended up doing that. And this is me playing Need for Speed at 11 years old, not knowing that one day I was actually going to become a cinematic director for Need for Speed on a bunch of their video game titles. Which brings me the reason why I became a director in the first place to start with was just an accident. I got hired by EA Games to work on this video game, Need for Speed. And everyone was on holiday, but they gave me the script and they left me with it. So I started reading the script, and when everyone came back, everyone goes on holiday in August, by the way, in Stockholm apparently. So all the video game companies changed, but they hired me somehow. And I was there, with the script, started reading, and I knew I wasn't very good with animation at the time, but I knew I could pick up a camera. So all the skills that I had from my travels and from my experience in being in Korea as a student, I knew I could pick that up. And I remember, as probably a lot of you know, Cal Cooper's 7 title sequence as a classic. And I knew I could edit. I knew I could edit things, and I knew I could film the screen, and I knew I could animate little things and get away with a lot if I could just film the screen and then do the rest and edit. So I did that. I picked up my Canon 5D that you can see here, and I started filming the screen and getting that pixel look to it, that effect that I could have done with After Effects or something else, but somehow that control felt like I could just easily do it myself. So here's a little edit of what I did. This is from...
We've seen how strange things can get at night. Well, things are about to get a whole lot stranger. Driver tricks cops into thinking he's about to pull over. Then all hell breaks
you. That was the first iteration of Need for Speed that I worked on, and then I ended up working on quite a few after, very fortunately. So jumping out in time a little bit, I had just worked on a Premier League rebrand at the time, and so again, total different setup, like not anything related to video games, like branding, of course, so different. And my friends were opening a studio in New York, and again, I was like, all right, let's go, New York. And so I joined them. So when I moved to New York again, like I felt like that kid that went to South Korea again. And I was still quite young, I was still 28. But I felt like I was living inside of a film, or because I've never been to the US before. It was the first city I've been on, and growing up with American cinema and movies, it just felt like I was in a film again. So after work, I would grab my camera, and I lived in Brooklyn, and normally I would walk from Brooklyn to Manhattan. If you don't know the distance, it's a few hours, like 3-4 hours walking, good 3-4 hours. And I would do that a lot, like a week, at least 3 times after work. Just me and my camera. And I started to explore more with my photography and getting more like a cinematic look and feel through my lens. Again, like I want to find ways to express myself, how I was looking at things and like trying to really bring this cinematic look and feel. And I had a really basic camera at the time. I was shooting with some Canon like 6D or something, which was already full frame. That to me was incredible. For today's standards, it's a really cheap camera, but I was able to express myself, and that's what I mean about the tools. It doesn't matter what you have, it's what you use and how you use it, and it's the thing you use the most is what's the best tool for you, really. And I was playing with compositions, playing with practical effects, just using the world around me, just getting depth in compositions, no accessories, just me and my camera. And looking at a lot of architecture and how light played, and always keeping like that cinematic look and feel in the back of my head, and somehow like that's the way that I was approaching these images. So when I came back to work with EA again on another iteration of Need for Speed, I came with a complete different perspective. A few years have gone by now that I joined in again, and I knew I wanted to push again. Like I had an opportunity to push for this cinematic look that I've been studying with my camera. But now I could translate it to a whole different language because Octane had just came out, and that to me changed things because I used to work in V-Ray, and that was so much harder, in my opinion, at the time to achieve as a designer, because I'm a graphic designer, I'm not a CG technical artist. All of a sudden I could express myself, like almost in a similar way that I could do through photography. So these are some of the style frames that I created initially to set the vision that I had for the cinematics that I wanted to build. And again, like all these exercises that I had played with my camera and I had imagined with depth, I started bringing that combining with typography and my knowledge of graphic design and directing and pushing the team all over the years to do that. And this is a little montage that
Yeah, we don't want nobody telling.
Situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the street, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my tin in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out, gangster, set, tripping banker, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, yeah, thing like that.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, this is a work of a lot of people together that came like through multiple Need for Speed iterations. Obviously, not done everything by myself, not even close. But it was fun. And then a few years went by. Life was good. I've been working with my friends from Tendril for I think like 3 years at the time as a director for them, and then life went downhill pretty fast and really hard because one of my best friends decided to quit this planet, and it was really hard and no warning, nothing. So I had to find myself again out of that hole that was pretty intense. So I did the only way I knew how to do it. I threw myself on a solo journey across the Himalayas, and as far as I could from every civilization, and I knew I had to do that by myself. So I had a lot of time to think again and do photography, and I flew to Kathmandu, and I got a motorbike, and that somehow had some sort of like off-road capabilities, and again, me and my camera just on a solo journey across the Himalayas. And you don't really need much. You need a good satellite and insurance to get out of there once you get into trouble. It's inevitable that you're going to get into trouble. And then in this process, I met Hitman. His real name is Hitman. I couldn't believe that it was his real name, and I said, like, you're going on my phone as John. There's no way. But I'm giving him a shout out because Hitman is and he still messages me, as you can tell. Like, he's asking about my son, and sometimes he sends me photos of his chickens. But Hitman's the guy that helped me with all the paperwork. It's really hard to go to this place. It's called it's a really far area of the Himalayas. You're not allowed to travel by yourself, so I can't get into that for legal reasons, but you need 2 passports. And this is some of the roads. These are actually roads that you have to go through, and it's difficult because you can't see the scale, but it's pretty crazy. And somehow on this journey, I managed to capture a little bit of a film, and I put together to show you guys. It's a long journey. I ended up going to Everest too, which is a lifetime accomplishment. Even so, I only did it to base camp, but it was still freaking hard. And this is a really cool photo that I think it's a really cool photo because of the environment. And a lot of people ask me what camera I use, and I don't think you have to, it doesn't matter. This is a $30 camera from eBay that looks like this. Literally cost me $30. And it's the camera that I was less precious about. It's the camera I carried on my motorbike jacket. It took photos like this. It took photos that I brought home as memories, that I didn't have to be scared about using the camera or that I was going to break. But I still shoot digital. This is with my digital camera that, again, I'm not super precious about, but there is a difference there, I know, but I think just use what you want to use, and these are some of the images that I took. I ended up getting a helicopter back from Everest because I ran out of time to come back, and I left this photo here because this is one of the villages that I slept, and normally you'd ride for like around 10 hours on a motorbike without seeing anyone or a village, and then one day I arrived in this village that looked like Resident Evil, but the next village was not for another 10 hours, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to sleep here. And there was skulls everywhere. I still don't know the reason, but yeah, I thought it was crazy. And usually, you know, the good thing about traveling and design and all these things and how it all comes together is like you get to talk a lot with people and seeing colors and thinking about like how other people in such remote areas still work and design. I was suffering from altitude sickness, so I had to go into the doctor, it was not the doctor that we're normally used to, but he had these illustrations, which I thought it was fantastic, that's the way that they use to communicate and explain, medicine in the design way, which is incredible. And in the end of this journey, I wasn't lost anymore. I was just exploring, and that journey really changed who I am and what I do. And over the years, I've been really lucky to work in some of the studios that I most admire, with people that I really admire and I'm really happy to call friends. But in recent years, I found myself with a new challenge, and I've been joining forces with a studio called Steelworks. Steelworks is a design studio based in LA, New York, and London, because mostly I'm here. And it's been quite the journey so far, because I've got hired essentially to shape the design team and to build the design of the studio, and the variety of projects that we've been fortunate to work over the last 2-3 years or so since I've joined have been really fun and really different at the same time. It's been really fun, and again, like freely, I've been having a lot of fun. This is a really fun project that we did together, that we set ourselves to design a product that didn't exist. And we wanted to do something that felt physical, but it was almost like reinventing an MP3 player if we were to do one. So we did different variations of how the device could look like, and how we could advertise it, how the screen would work, and we knew that we wanted to do something tactile. That needed to be some sort of like knob or something that you would turn, and we still get hit up with messages asking when is this thing gonna come out, which is funny. And for it, like we went deep, like we did like 3D hands renders with holding the device, and a whole UI design to it, a whole color palette, how this thing would work if we were to do posters. We went in, and then we did a 1 minute, I think, film. That's pretty cool. Thank you. Cool. And then life happened again. I was home and a volcano in Iceland exploded, and I was like, okay, I gotta go and watch that thing. So this is what happens when you film a drone over an active volcano 50 meters above, because I'll never forget that, because that's the state that my drone got in. I will never forget those 50 meters. Somehow the drone came back, but as you can see, like, it came back pretty damaged, but it still flies today, which is awesome. And this is what it looks like. I couldn't believe like how incredible and insane at the same time. I got a little video here of this thing. Like, I wish I had captured sound, because it's like the earth is opening. I don't know how to explain, but if you can one day see one in real life, I don't know if I recommend. I guess I shouldn't, because it's not really Icelandic people. They don't get really happy when you're out there. You're not supposed to get this close. But you know, ChatGPT said if I buy this mask, I wouldn't die. I'm still here. So that's cool. But you know, the way that things connect with my life and my work too, I came back and we got a really cool brief for Adidas in Montclair at the time, and I knew I wanted to bring some of that energy that I just got back from the volcano. So I think it reflects a little bit here, the red tones and all that energy. And the idea was to bring Adidas and Montclair. They were doing this collaboration, and they wanted to tell a story that was going from the mountains, up being Montclair, up to the street being Adidas, and how that journey connects. So we did a director's cut for it. Thank you. And you know, as where I'm going now, I find myself more and more drawn to bringing humans together in a room, building things. So that's where I've been heading next. As I prepared this talk, I had a lot of like thinking about, you know, I've kind of like told you a little bit where I started and where I've been, but what's next, right? Like I still love CG. I don't think that's gonna end, and I think this whole industry situation with AI, it's impossible to ignore, and it's made me think a lot. And the thing that I find most precious to me is being in a room making things with my friends, and that's why I've been doing more. And of course, I still use AI. I do it to do montages with my mom. Before, this would take me forever in Photoshop, and now I can put her a grill. That's actually, I do montages of, like, instead of my son, I get her to hold animals, like chickens and things like that. So she's always really happy, but it's, you know, that would take me, or she's part of an LA gang. Family group finds it hilarious, and it used to take me forever. I used to tell I have a little niece, and I used to tell her that everyone in the family contributed so I could learn Photoshop so that we could Photoshop her photos into the family album because she was adopted. She did not find that funny. But yeah, but in all seriousness, I've been putting people together in a room and making things for real, practical, like things that maybe we could have done in CG, which is valid also. And with this project, I got together with my friends in the studio in Hollywood, and we started building things like this fish tank that we built the propeller because I wanted to control the speed about how things moved inside, and I wanted to control the amount of fizziness. So we've got things from an aquarium that kind of blow bubbles, and if you give a kid like me a phantom camera and a robot arm, you gotta kick me out of there. So producers weren't very happy that we did like 3 days of overtime. But see, these are some of the cool results that we got. I mean, legitimately, we could have done this with AI or anything else, but the fact that I got together with my friends in the room to create this, to me, makes it more special and more meaningful, and this is the reason why I came into this industry, not to write prompts, and no offense to anyone that does AI. But this is really hard to shoot, by the way, because you only have like 1 or 2 shots, because I wanted to use real fruits, and real fruits get really mushy really quick, and the water gets really murky, so they hated me. But still, I wanted to do CG, so we did transitions from the live action into this 3G that fell seamlessly, because that love is still there. And somehow I managed to convince the client to do this, which was cool. And this is a little bit like of the sweet spot of that transition, using live action and then mixing it up, transitioning to the CG shot. And another shot that I wanted to talk to you guys and show you also. We did this shot with ice cubes, and again, I wanted to use real ice cubes in this. So we built a trampoline, as you can see here, and this is the result. So the trampoline would kind of like throw the ice cubes up in the air, and then the phantom camera was connected to the thing that triggered the trampoline, and the phantom camera that you can see with the robot arm kind of creeping in on the side would go in and shoot the ice cubes in real time. But yeah, it's really hard again because using real ice cubes, it's hot in the studio and they melt. And I wanted to do another transition where we would go from those real ice cubes into the CG cubes, and the ice would fall into the liquid. And this is a style frame that I did with Cinema 4D for it, but the client didn't buy that idea, so we had to cut this shot, but I still put it here because I like the shot. And also for like the can, like I wanted to do the can for real. I wanted to shoot it rather than just doing it in CG. And for that we did like a really big mirror of the background that we wanted to use, so I wanted to reflect the sky. And yeah, some of the shots that we wanted to do, and this is some of the results. We had to, again, this is all practically. We filmed all of this. We had a wire pulling the can and opening it, and then we had the liquid kind of like shooting into this glass surface thing. And another fun project that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this is the first time I used the 3D scan. And the way that I did that, we got actually our friend Martin with a skateboard, and they scanned this road and he sent me, and I was like, cool, like that's a really interesting thing, like what can I do with it? So I brought it into cinema, and I started like thinking about like how can I use this? The whole idea of the project was these shoes for Hoka, and they wanted to talk about speed. So I started doing these motion tests with that, like really simple and kind of like really fast, so that we could use a really horrible 3D scan from a phone into the video, and this is the result. Cool, so thank you. There's 2 videos. One video, this one was about speed and like running on the road, and this was off-roading. Sound's gone. It does have sound. Cool, thank you. Oh, come back? Okay, cool. And then with everything that I learned from that experience, like that kind of like guerrilla style using an iPhone experience, we had this brief that from Bull and Branch, and the brief was to like, we sell bed sheets and make a cool film about selling bed sheets, and they're really soft and comfortable. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Can we shoot it? And they were like, yeah, let's shoot it. So I wanted to shoot a room, and I wanted to have the whole bed set up because I wanted to do the bed sheets in the bed for real, because I wanted to have that human connection and human touch. So we built this entire room in CG, and the way that I did it initially, I wanted to set the light and the set exactly how I wanted for the set to be built, because we only had 2 days to shoot this, so it was a quick turnaround. And then we built all these style frames, and we started doing motion tests. The idea was to create a room in the dream where she was sleeping on the bed in boy cub, and all of a sudden the room has been taken over, all these soft flowers and all these soft tones. So because we only had 2 days, we did a lot of preview. And the fun thing is then we got on set. These are some of the photos that I took. Again, like my photography side, always bringing my camera with me. We built the set, and I knew exactly how I wanted things to look like, but that idea and that experiment that I did with the phone, or we did and we tested with Hoka, really came across here, because now we got a proper LiDAR scanner. We got these guys from New York. The project was shooting in New York. We got these guys that are like, that's what they do. And we built the LiDAR scanner of the room, and we merged it with the camera. And then we started doing previews, and we started applying all these flowers and all these systems around the room, all built in Houdini, and this is the result of one of the shots. So it's a combination of live action and Houdini with the flowers, and outside is actually Unreal Engine that we've connected to the camera, so it tracks the same data of the camera with an iPhone, so that we could follow the same direction of the camera, so you don't have to like track anything on the outside window. So that was a quick cheat that we did. And this is the final result as the director's cut. Cool. That's it. Thank you. And again, my crazy life balancing and running from one side to the other, and most of passions, somehow I ended up in the Amazon forest with my friend Paul Rosalie. And the idea was to explore an area of the Amazon that there was no registry or no idea of anyone ever been there documenting that area. And they wanted to find the biggest anaconda that they could possibly find. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm in. I mean, I'm the only designer in there in the group of scientists and filmmakers. And this is what it looks like when you're trying to find anacondas in the Amazon at night. It's pretty scary. I'm a designer. I should not be there. I'm the only one that's a designer. They don't even know what a designer is. Most of these guys are like, yeah, cool, like we do this completely different thing. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And if you're wondering what's in the water, yes, there are big crocodiles and piranhas and everything that can kill you. But equally, there is beautiful sunrises like this in the Amazon, and it's one of the most truly experiences that I've ever had the pleasure of being so deep in the Amazon. I think we were 7 days from the nearest village. I asked where we were going, and they said there's no name. It's the Amazon. And again, in the meantime, while I was there, I managed to film a little bit, and I want to share with you guys today too a little bit of the film that I did with some of the guys there. These guys are big. They're pretty scary too, tell you that. Thank you. That was the journey. In the process, I got to stay one night in the, I think they consider the tallest tree house in the world, which they built as an observatory and the research center in the middle of the Amazon, which is pretty cool. Yeah, really interesting place. And if you're wondering what it sounds to be in the Amazon, it sounds like this a little. Sounds like, yeah. It's not Godzilla, but it sure sounds like it. And these little guys here, they're called howler monkeys, and they're pretty scary sounding. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Clapping. I didn't say stop clapping. Give it up again. Come on. Raise the roof.
Thank you.
You just had two fantastic people present to you. So we've got about 10 minutes for a bit of Q&A. There's a little bit of food for you guys, but it's one slice apiece, right? So don't you all go feral, right? You get one slice each. I will be rationing it. It's like the war. Anyway. I saw your hand. Okay, so we've got two questions. You ready?
Wow.
All right, let's do it.
Never ready. Bring it on.
It better be a good question. I swear to God, if you ask something stupid.
What's next on the journey?
Oh, I think I'm planning. Well, I've been planning this for a while. I want to cross Mongolia solo on a motorbike. That's my next plan.
Pretty solid. Answered. Good. You get to be next. My hand was after you.
Hi. As a creative director, is there anything that you found challenging on your journey?
Yeah, every day. I have to bullshit all the time and like sell stuff to clients. That's the most challenging thing I find. It's in all seriousness, man. Like educating clients now has become like a very big challenge, especially in the era of AI. I feel like our craft is a little bit at risk, and it's our duty as designers and creators to educate our clients that there's a lot of craft that goes into this, whatever tool you're using, even if it's AI. There's a journey that you had to get there, and I think that's the most challenging thing I've found recently as being the creative director, is just educating clients.
We've got another one.
Hello. Did we meet in the pub in Farringdon? Like, your best mates wife,
Are you
have
asking them
they?
a social question?
Well, I have a question, but I also have a thing at the end. They got the same name, right? Am I right in thinking that?
Miguel.
Yeah, your best buddy, they got the same name. All right.
Yeah.
So,
We
cool.
have met, yeah.
So there's the connection. Cool.
Yeah,
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to thank you for reminding us what it's really all about. I really enjoyed your talk, man. It was great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming.
For God's sake.
Question in there.
All right, apologies. Anyone else? Want to talk about social life? Social life?
Not social life, but finances.
Finances, okay.
No, just the trips look amazing.
Thank you.
How do you make it happen? Because it obviously costs a lot of money.
Well, it depends. It depends. On the Amazon, it's not something you can necessarily book. It doesn't exist like that because of the logistics. I did the Amazon because I did Everest, and I met a photographer from Nat Geo and a team, and they introduced me to Paul, this guy. If you don't know about Paul, he's doing a really good project called Jungle Keepers, which is protecting an area of the Amazon. So I got to go with him and experience with the local people. I had to do a donation for the Amazon to Jungle Keepers, and they took me with them as a part of a scientific group. The others, it's not that crazy expensive, because imagine like the biggest expense that you have is, I'll give Nepal or the Himalayas as an example. The biggest expense is acquiring a motorbike, but that's something you can sell at the end. Everywhere else, everything else on the journey, there's no hotels, so I have to like sleep at people's homes, so I can't pay. Well, they don't accept. Or I sleep in the tent, so it's not that expensive. And you eat rice and noodles a lot, and yeah, so that's it. The scuba diving can get quite more costly. Yeah, that's tricky. Yeah, I hope that helps. I don't know, just stay cheap places. I don't know, like I crossed Vietnam with the motorbike and stayed in like $2 places. They're not the cleanest. No, self-sponsor. It's just, I'm not very good with my finances. I shouldn't give advice.
I hear that, my friend.
I'm
I got another one for you over here. Oh God, that's a bit peaky.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's that?
Not too close to your mouth.
Oh, okay. Hi. I'm quite early in my career, like 2 years in since graduating, and I'm quite interested in going into motion, but I'm currently like a junior motion designer. What sort of like words of wisdom do you have, or like ways to stay inspired in the industry when you're really early on?
Just stay curious. I think that's the whole topic of my journey, and not being scared of trying new things, especially early on. Like there's not a lot of responsibility on you as a junior to start with. So take advantage of that, have fun, like do whatever you're interested. If you're a really good motion designer, don't try to be something that you're not, maybe. Don't try to do something, don't try to be a 3D artist if that's not what you're interested in, just because you think the industry and the trend is going there. No, stick with what you generally love. I think that's the best advice I can give you. And there's nothing wrong in chasing trends or chasing different tools, as long as that's what you're passionate about. I think what you're most passionate about is what you should focus on.
Got another one.
The sound design and music throughout your presentation has been phenomenal. Do you have a hand in sourcing that, or deciding on what the sound is?
Yeah, all the music, because it's all personal stuff there, mostly personal stuff that I share, like a lot of my trips. The last film from the Amazon is actually a friend of mine. That's a really good, talented designer. Also, Pedro Ramos. I should know his band. Yeah, I don't know his band, but he gave me the song, which I asked him. I listened to it. Something Mayors. I think. I should know this. But yeah, I picked the songs. I actually play music, but I'm not very good at it, so I didn't record any of it. But I collected it.
Any more? We've got like 2 minutes. No? Oh, there we are. Thank you. Sorry, it's
That's right. Do you think that you still be doing design that on the day you retire? Would you be cruising around somewhere in a remote area?
That's a good question. I'm really passionate about design. Design saved my life. I could have gone into military school, so I didn't. And so I have a huge respect for design. And I never wanted to be a professional. Photography as trading, because I think that would steal that fun of being a kid and just exploring without having the pressure of doing a job. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I still have it in design. Like, I have clients to answer to, and I have responsibilities. With these journeys, they're personal journeys to whatever it is that I'm trying to do with it.
But the day that you retire, that you have no responsibility, what would you be doing?
I'm going to be doing traveling 100% if I can afford it. Hell yeah. What's that?
Not gonna let go.
No.
That's not what you do when you retire.
That's okay. I'm here. Yeah,
just thought you might be like, sleepless night, wanting to do some renders,
No, I don't think so. I think I'll fully go into nature. I'm actually leaving London for part of that reason. I'm leaving London next week because I want to...
No, stay. Come on. Stick around. We love you.
Yeah, no, London's going to be always I've spent majority of all of my adult life here, so I have nothing but respect for London. It built my career, gave me everything I got. But I want to be closer to nature, so that's why I'm
Don't we all?
Step down. Yeah, but
good for the soul.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. There he is. I've got another one for you. Right in the depths of it all.
Cheers. Nice. Sorry.
Thank you.
Nice talk.
Thank you.
How did you find shooting with the drones abroad in different places? In terms of, how did you find shooting with the drones?
So Iceland's fine, because you can fly your drone pretty much everywhere. Nepal, big no-no. Big, like, go to jail, no-no. But then everyone told me, like, do not even attempt to try to fly your drone. But I was, most of the places I was riding my motorbike without seeing any single human for like 8 hours, sometimes 10 hours. I'm like, there's no one out here. I'm like, who's going to tell me off? The yaks? The animals? Oh no. So yeah, that's what I did. But then I got in trouble leaving the country, actually. They found my drone and it was a whole ordeal. And I had to actually source a box and ship it like with my luggage. I thought I was never going to see it, but somehow it came back.
Hey Miguel.
Hey, man.
So I was at Digital Design Days in Italy, Milan, last month, and this event was amazing. Thousands of people there, and PJ from Laundry, he does this amazing talk, and there's a part of his talk where he talks about a dark time that he went through, and he pretty much dedicates this section to you because you helped him through this period of time. He went to this amazing place, I think it was Greenland or Iceland, somewhere like that.
Yeah, it was Iceland.
Iceland, yeah. And he goes to this beautiful place close to nature and he finds peace. And he said that words couldn't explain how thankful he was to you. I was going to say this personally to you without the audience, but I thought it's important for people to know that's a credit to who you are as a person.
Thank you. Don't make me cry.
Now, how sweet was that? A little bit of inter-design discipline love, right? Like, that was beautiful.
That was, yeah.
You got recognised, you didn't even know you were getting recognised.
No, thank you. Yeah, PJ is very sweet. And thank you for sharing that too. Like, PJ told me that he was going to do something. He didn't say exactly what it was. But yeah, PJ and I, we helped each other. It's a dark journey we both went on in different ways and different directions, but somehow we ended up like having like these amazing conversations. And it's the nature of our industry. Everyone's so nice and kind that we all here to help each other, and I think at least we should more and more.
Miguel here.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Big fan.
Get out of here.
Look, one thing I was wondering is how you see the AI being like incorporated in your workflow, because I think that's something that it's getting bigger and bigger. And I had some experiences that it adds so much and removes so much friction in my workflow. And what are your thoughts about all the AI thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to always remind myself that I joined this industry to create and do stuff that's meaningful, or at least try. But with AI, I'm really struggling with it. I'm really struggling to find the use for it. I try not to be the old guy just being like, nah, don't use AI. And I'm trying to embrace it, even though I don't like it. I like it for the fun stuff, like the ridiculous stuff that I like to do with it. But like professional stuff, I find that it's taking a lot from my creation, like from my fun and from my challenges. Whether it's spending hours to figure out how to do something technically or to create a style frame, I think that's taken away the reason why I became a designer in the first place, to create. So I'm finding it really difficult to adapt to it, even though I don't know how much, like I was saying, I think we have to educate more people to the use of AI. Then I don't think it's going to go away. I wish it would, because I personally don't want it around. But I want to find out like what's the useful way. I haven't found it yet. I've been trying different tools. I know it's cool for simulations and for technical things. Like I can do a render of something and then throw it in AI and it looks beautiful in 2 seconds. But it took the soul for me. Like that whole struggle and challenging of like breaking my head and spending hours like trying to figure out like settings with V-Ray, fighting with it. Octane changed that and Redshift changed that, but in a different way. You still have some control. With AI, I feel like I have no control. Like I feel like I put like I can put like a clay render and tell it like with a prompt what I want it to look like, but it's still random. It's not something I can control. It has no soul, and that, to me, that's the biggest challenge to me for use. I don't have a real answer, but kind of like, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good answer. Now, can we please hand together for the lovely Miguel?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're also 8 minutes over.
Yeah.
He's got a timer on, so he's a little bit past time. Now, a couple of little bits. There is pizza, as I said, it's 1 slice each. Vegan is on your left, margarita in the middle, pepperoni on the right. Don't all rush. Please just be careful about it. Also, I would like to shout out a couple of extra people in the audience somewhere. There they are. Have any of you been to See No Evil? Yeah? Little show of hands, can I see? So we have a bit of royalty in the house, right? Tiago and Tina here, so please give it up for them. You all need to remember that we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? Like, it's not just us that do it. Also, behind every good man is a much better woman. And the woman that you all probably would have met is Lauren, our lovely lady at the door. So can we please... There we are.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you, yeah.
They're just ordinary men. If anybody gets that reference, DM me afterwards. Yeah, so at this point we have about half hour or so. Adam will say 10, but I'm going to say 9:30 just so we can, get rid of them. But you've got about half hour. What do? Please get yourself a little bit of pizza. 1 slice. You can come find me if you want to. But again, just be nice to each other. Have 1 slice. We'll see what's left. Please also try and vacate the place. Don't be hands together yet, because I also need to thank Jay, Harvey, Nick, our other Nick that isn't here, and obviously myself. And obviously, none of this is possible without you lot sitting in the bloody audience. So maybe just give yourselves a big up. Get there again. I could just keep making you clap. I could just keep making you clap. It's really fun. No, honestly, go get some pizza. Oh yeah, of course. A big thanks. I went off script. It's not in the notes. But obviously, a massive thank you to the folks at Cavalry that made this happen.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Who's doing a big call?
Yeah, thanks, man. We did what I was saying.
Go get some pizza. Bugger off.
Really good. You South America? Yeah, I've done most of it too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just going to give it.